Welcome back, NYC Fragrance family. Got a small quick video. 4 fragrances in my collection that I consider transitional fragrances from summer to fall. So, these are 4 that are in my collection. I'm not telling you they're the best, but being that they're in my collection, I got them, I like them, and I enjoy them. So, I'm going to share them with you. The first one from a very popular niche house, and before I get started, these are all 4 niche fragrances. Popular niche house, everybody knows the house. From the House of Creed, Royal Mayfair. Now Royal Mayfair, you know, as a rose, eucalyptus fragrance. It's got the brightness, the strength, the smell for the summertime, but it's also got, with that rose and that eucalyptus being a strong note as it is, perfect to transition to the fall. One of those fragrances that kind of almost is a Swiss Army knife of fragrances, but it's good for transitioning from the fall to summer. It's also a spring fragrance in my opinion too, so summer, spring, summer, fall, maybe not so much for winter, but a 3-season fragrance. The next one. This house, the prices on the fragrances from this house are relatively cheap, or fairly decent price for niche. From the house of Etat, Libre de Orange comes Hermann. Now Hermann's all about pepperwood, ambroxan. It's got a rose note, but it's got this sort of masculine patchouli vibe about it as well. It's a very interesting fragrance to describe. It has this almost incensey vibe, but it's clean and crisp enough. This I think of as an all-season fragrance as well, but definitely a summer to fall transitioning fragrance. And a lot of these things, you know, I looked up on the database for Grantica, and I look at what seasons it said that these fragrances are to be used for. And this one does show up as summer and spring. At least some votes, spring, summer, and fall. Some votes push it in that direction. Like I said, if you like fragrances that have a certain herbal quality, slightly floral touch, nice ambroxan, and definitely some patchouli, you should check out Hermann by Etat Libre de Orange. The next one we know, I mean, talked about time and time again. This is definitely another all-season one. Could be worn in any season. But again, a perfect transitional fragrance. One that is a staple in the collection. Amouage Reflection Man. This is a fragrance that you could wear casually. You could wear dressed up. It just works pretty much for every occasion. You know, you've probably seen it in many lists. You've probably seen it talked about many times. Again, though, Amouages are expensive fragrances. I don't recommend a blind buy. It's been compared to Jean Paul Gaultier's La Malle. I don't really get that. I think it's just too elegant and too well made to be. I just think it's just on another level from that fragrance. Not that I dislike Jean Paul Gaultier's La Malle. I do enjoy the fragrance, but I just think this is on another level. Get yourself a sample if you can. Perfect transition fragrance. If you're not ready to wear those spicier tobacco, woody, cinnamon, you know, all those type of more romantic, rich fragrances that you start wearing in the fall going into the winter, this is a perfect one to balance it out. Now the last one is from an indie house. But this indie house took me by storm pretty much. I pretty much like just about everything they have in their line. But this one is the standout for me. From Rogue Perfumery, Mousse Illuminee. This is basically, I have to call it the king of moss. It has got one of the best moss notes. Almost stuck on me, huh? Moss notes in a fragrance. Wow, man, that's unbelievable. This fragrance is like taking green Irish tweed and just making it even more rich. So like green Irish tweed is referred to a lot as the king of spring. Creed green Irish tweed, for those that you don't know what green Irish tweed I'm referring to. This is what I would call, It's also a spring fragrance, but I would call it more so the fall fragrance because of the richness, because a little bit slight darker, slightly more mossy, slightly more woodsy feel to it. Whereas Green Irish Tweed is that green fields, the green fields, the green of Ireland. This is more like the deep woods in Germany or something like that. This is the more, like I said, the natural moss. It's not non-IFRA compliant moss, which is real natural moss in this fragrance, and that's what makes it outstanding for me. And again, the prices this comes in at, I believe, around $100. Well worth the purchase. So, those are my 4 fragrances in my collection, niche fragrances, that I consider or I view as summer to fall transition fragrances. Now, I have a list of designer ones. It's a much, much, much bigger list. If I get around to doing that, I'll get that out soon. Otherwise, new viewers, thank you for watching. New subscribers, thank you for joining the NYC Fragrances family. And my NYC Fragrance family, from the bottom of my heart. Appreciate everything you do for me. It's what keeps me going. Until the next time, remember, if you smell good, you feel good. Have a nice day.